Hurry Harry and Deerslayer have reached Muskrat Castle, the fort-like house which Tom Hutter has erected in the lake. But the Hutters are not at home. Hurry finally locates them in an outlet of the lake where they are fishing. The old man is soon acquainted with conditions in the forest, and their large flatboat, called the Ark, is headed back toward the lake when Deerslayer suddenly sights a number of painted Indians lined up on an overhanging tree. Hurry at the sweeps hears Hutter call, "Pull for your life, Hurry, pull!" The Ark sweeps forward as the woods are filled with savage yells, and rifle bullets patter against the logs of the Ark. But the latter is soon in the lake and past immediate danger. The present act opens at Muskrat Castle several hours later.
Well, Hurry, your enormous strength was never put to better use than tonight. If you hadn't got the Ark into such quick motion, there'd have been a nice little party on board.
But we're safe now for the present behind these stout logs. There's not a canoe on the lake that I don't know where it's hid. There are two, but they're so snug in hollow logs that they'll ne'er be found.
There's no telling that, Harry. A hound is not more sartain on the scent than a redskin. It'll be a tight log that will hide a canoe from his eyes.
You're right, Deerslayer. Judith, find our friends food. A long march gives a sharp appetite.
We're not starving, Master Hutter. We just filled up as we reached the lake.
Nature is nature and must be fed. Judith, see to the meal. And take your sister to help you.
We'll have something ready, Father, shortly. Though I wish I might stay a moment and help you plan your campaign against our enemies.
Indian warfare is not a woman's concern, Judith. Now, you leave that to us.
Yes, but a woman's wit is often the strong man's best aid.
That may be, lass, but we don't need you now.
Come, Hetty.
I wanted the girls away, friends, because I wanted to hold talk with you both. This matter looks serious. Your ideas will greatly relieve my mind.
It's my notion, old Tom, that you and your huts and traps are in desperate jeopardy.
Yes, and I have children. Good girls, too, I say, if I am their father.
And one of them has an Eureka on the frontier for good looks.
May I depend on you, Deerslayer, to stand by me and my daughters?
That you may, Floating Tom. And I think you can count on Hurry, too.
I say you won't be able to count on Hurry. Hurry is his nature as well as his name, and he'll fly away as soon as he thinks his fine figure is in danger. But we can rely on Deerslayer. Your honest face and heart tell me you will perform your promises.
Leave us, Judith, leave us. And don't return until you bring venison and fish. The foolish girl's been spoiled by the flattery of the officers. Don't think any harm of her silly words, Hurry.
I scarce know Judith any longer. I'll soon take to admiring her sister.
Then you're coming to your right senses, Hurry. Hetty'd make a much safer companion than Judy.
No man need want a safer wife than Hetty, though I'll not answer for her being the most rational. But Deerslayer's right, Tom. I'll not desert you.
But let's get to a business of another sort. You know that high prices are offered for scalps on both sides?
Yes, I know that.
It isn't right, perhaps, to take gold for human blood. Yet when mankind is busy killing one another, there can be no great harm in adding a little bit of skin to the plunder. What's your sentiments, Harry, touching this point?
You make a mistake, old man, in calling savage blood human blood. I think no more of a redskin scalp than I do of a pair of wolf's ears.
That's manly. I knew you'd be on my side. Deerslayer, I suppose you're of Hurry's way of thinking?
I've no such feeling. My gifts are not scalpers' gifts. I'll stand by you in the Ark, the castle, or canoe. But I'll not unhumanize my neighbor by falling into ways that God intended for another race.
Harry, that's a lesson you might learn and practice to advantage.
Move further off, Judy. Now, no more of this. We're bound to talk of matters unfit for a woman to listen to. Hurry, the young man's entitled to his belief. We can leave the children in his care. There's a large party of these savages on the shore, but they may be hunters who've been out so long they haven't heard of the War of the Bounty.
In which case, why was their first salute an attempt to cut our throats?
We don't know that their design was so bloody. It's natural and easy for an Indian to fall into ambushes.
I saw the Mingoes, and they were in their war paint. They're on the trail of mortal men, and not deer.
Oh, I didn't see the paint.
If Deerslayer says it was paint, then paint it was.
But I saw the print of women's moccasins. Would they have women with them if they were on the warpath?
It may be that the warriors have come out to call in their women and children, to get in an early blow. Anyway, if there is women and children, the colony pays for all scalps alike.
More shame that it should be so.
Hearken to reason, lad. The savages scalp your friends. Why shouldn't we scalp? One good turn deserves another.
Master Harry, is it religion to say that one bad turn deserves another?
I'll never reason against you, Judy, for you beat me with beauty if you can't with sense. Here's the Canadas paying their Indians for scalps, And why not we pay...
Our Indians. Oh, Father. Father, think no more of this. And listen to the advice of Deerslayer.
Deerslayer, you're young and don't understand the ways of the forest. If your enemy be fierce, then you must be fiercer.
That's not the missionary teaching. Some of the Moravians say that if you are strong...
That for your Moravian missionaries. Who ever heard of mercy for a muskrat? Where's your tinder, Tom? Let's have a light.
Hold hard, Harry. We want no lights tonight. They prove a beacon to our enemies.
Well, we ought to be safe enough here in the castle.
In open daylight, I shouldn't fear a host of savages. What with 3 or 4 trusty weapons, and killdeer in particular. But it's different at night. A canoe might get on us unseen.
But the enemy has no canoe, Tom. You know that. There are only 5 canoes in these parts, and we have 3 with us, and the other 2 are housed on the shore in hollow logs, safe from the eyes of even prowling redskins.
But in the morning, they'll leave no likely place unexamined.
The Indian don't live that can find a canoe that's suitably wintered.
My opinion is that these canoes should be got off to the castle, and the sooner it's done, the better.
What do you think, Deerslayer?
I agree with Tom. And I'll follow you, Hutter, even into the main goat camp on such an hour.
Well, I don't expect you'll prove much of a warrior, Deerslayer. Though your equal with bucks don't exist in all these parts.
We'll see, Harry. We'll see.
At any rate, you can use a paddle, and that's all we'll ask of you tonight. I think we'd better take to a canoe and do instead of talking.
The decision is the right one. We must get those 2 canoes. I'll follow old Tom.
Lay on your paddles, men, and look about for a moment. You must be all eyes and ears, for these varmin have noses like bloodhounds.
There'll be signs of a campfire if they stop near this bank. Or at least there should be smell of wood smoke. You scent anything, Harry?
Not a thing. Unless I be mistaken, the first canoe lies about 50 yards west.
There's a piece of gravel beach just ahead. Pull up there and we'll reconnoiter a bit. Hey, you stay with the bark, Deerslayer, while Hurry and me look about.
It's quiet as death. If they're about here, they certainly are giving us no warning.
Is that the log just below you there?
This is it. Here, in this linden.
Hand me the paddles first, and then draw the boat out with care. The wretches may have left it for a bait after all.
Keep your rifle handy. If they attack, we want to unload the piece at them at least.
All right. Now move slow when you get your load. Ready? All safe, Deerslayer. 1 boat less for the enemy. We'll just tow this out about 100 yards, and the breeze will send it toward the castle.
Where's the other one hidden?
It's down where Hurry tried to shoot his deer this afternoon. We'll have to be more careful now, for we're certainly under an enemy country. This one will be harder to get off, because it's farther up the bank and it's in a tangle of dead wood. We'll have to swing it up on the branches of low elm and drop the canoe to you from above, Deerslayer. Hold her steady, lad, while we swing up.
I hope the enemy are not close. No woodsman could perform this feat with enough silence not to give away his position.
Can you see your way, Hurry?
No, but I got feelers. Hey, what's that?
Oh, don't be womanish. It's an owl. Stop talking and feel out for the log.
Here it is.
The boat?
Slick as a bug. Give me a lift.
Come along. Ahoy below there, Deerslayer. You ready?
Let her down.
Now we've freed the scab. If they want to visit the castle, let them swim. We'll strike for the Ark, Deerslayer, and you can follow.
Let us paddle along the south shore first and see if we can find a sign of encampment.
I suggest you look into the bay first. We're not sure of that quarter yet.
You'd not better go along, lad, because there may be trouble.
I think I'd better go along, as I agree.
Well, I'm thinking of the gals. They must have your protection if anything happens to us on this excursion.
I advise you not to land, Hutter.
That all depends, son.
Look, Tom, through those alders on the right. It's a dying brand. It's the remains of a campfire. I'll wager there's enough bounty sleeping around that fire to make us rich. You land us, Deerslayer, and let us do a bit of warpath for ourselves.
You're right, Harry. Do as we say, Deerslayer. Land us. We'll call if we find danger we can't find a way out of.
I wish you wouldn't undertake this matter, Tom.
Your wishes can't be allowed. There's bounty money in that camp, and that ends the matter. I'll paddle off in the lake and wait for a signal. This is good. Shove off now, Deerslayer. You follow me, Hurry. This little excursion needs caution.
We might find the place deserted.
There are only women around that fire. Our work will be easy. If there are any braves, we'll have to move fast.
How far away do you judge the fire to be?
Oh, just a few yards. There isn't enough light to give much information.
Well, if it's a war party, they must have sentinels.
Shh. I can see figures now.
Braves?
Squaws, I think.
Then our work will be easy.
Unless the men are watching from behind these trees. Look out for that root, Harry. Look out.
We're coming, son. It's a fight for our right now. Come on, you paying reptiles. There's 3 of a dozen of you to match the hurry.
Break away to the oak, Harry. We'll give them the slip.
Slippery devil, it's still grease. There, take that for your cunning.
This way, Harry. There's 3 of the varmints on me. I can't handle them all.
Hey, there's a mountain on me. Let up, you paying reptiles. Let up. I'm tied like a slow log now. There, stop choking me.
Wild deer carrying us to come ashore. Keep off the land, lad. Keep off. The gals depend on you now. Keep off and aid my children.
You've just heard another episode of The Deerslayer, dramatized and directed by Charles Frederick Lindsley. You're about to hear another episode of The Deerslayer, dramatized and directed by Charles Frederick Lindsley.
Old Tom Hutter and Hurry Harry, together with Deerslayer, have gone to the shore of the lake to find 2 canoes they have hidden in hollow logs. The woods are occupied by Indians on the warpath, and this is the only way to keep them from an immediate attack upon Hutter's house in the lake. The canoes are found and set adrift when old Tom suddenly sights the embers of a campfire. He and Hurry decide to steal upon the encampment and take as many scalps as possible. They leave Deerslayer in the canoe and steal off into the darkness. All is quiet for a few moments, and then Deerslayer is startled by the rifles of his friends, the outbreak of angry voices, and old Hutter shouting to him, "Keep off the land, lad! Keep off!" The present episode takes place at Hutter's lake house. It is just before dawn. Deerslayer has not returned, and the 2 daughters, Judith and Hetty Hutter, are discussing their situation.
It's almost dawn, and Father hasn't returned. Do you suppose those rifles we heard last night mean he's in trouble?
I think not, Hetty. They're probably having difficulty in finding his canoes and are still on the lake.
Tell me, Jude, was it the canoe only Father wanted?
I must be honest with you. They did go for the canoes, but Father and Hurry also want scalps with which to collect the government bounty.
Scalps? Oh, Judith, why should they kill people, especially women and children?
They shouldn't, but they hide behind the fact that we are at war and that the Indians would do the same to us.
Does Deerslayer want to take scalps, too?
No, Hetty, no. If your mind were not weak, you could tell as much by his face. Deerslayer has too honest a heart to take useless blood. He told Father and Hurry they shouldn't go on this mission.
Do you like our new acquaintance, Deerslayer? He isn't handsome. Hurry is far handsomer than he.
Well, that may be true, girl, but it's not everything to be handsome.
I wish I was as handsome as you, Judith.
Why so, poor child? One's beauty may cause her trouble.
Hurry says that beauty's everything in a young woman.
Oh, Hurry's like the officers from the garrison. He flatters. He's never sincere.
You think Deerslayer is sincere?
I haven't talked with him yet, but I believe he has a true wilderness heart. Plain, simple, and honest.
Judith, I hear someone at the landing. Can it be?
Shh! Stay away from the door, Hetty. Keep quiet. It may be Father. Listen.
Judith! Hetty!
Oh, it's all right, Hetty. It's Deerslayer. Oh, Deerslayer, are you alone? Where's Father and Harry? Are they with you? Did you see the Indians?
Not so fast, girl. My story is long and not blurted out in a single yes or no.
Shall I make a light?
No. The ark must remain dark. The light will be coming up over the eastern ridge in half an hour. Sit down and I'll tell my story in a few words. It's bad news.
Father!
He's met with misfortune, and there's no use in concealing it. He and Hurry are in Mingo hands, and heaven only knows what's to be the termination.
Did you find the canoe?
No, that story's almost as bad as the other one about your father, Judith. Yes, we found the canoes all right, and your father set them adrift, thinking the night breeze would send them in this direction, and that they would be close at hand by morning.
You can't mean you've lost them.
No, it was too black to tell much of anything on the water. And I may be mistaken, but it's my judgment that the wind carried the canoes out of line with the ark here. And it's hard to say how far off they be now.
Well, maybe when it's light, we may find them within a few yards of the ark.
And again, we may find them drifted clean to the other shore. And if that's happened, we could expect a visit within a few hours. No, the situation is a desperate one, lass. And I would be dishonest not to inform you. But as soon as I can have a bite to eat, I'm going out to pick up the boats wherever they be. Unless the Redskins have already captured them.
I shall go with you, Deerslayer.
No, girl. The Indians have rifles. And it's a dangerous mission, I tell you.
Let her go, Deerslayer. Judith can paddle a canoe as well as a man. You may need her.
But you shouldn't be left alone, Hetty.
You needn't think of me. The Indians know that I have a weak mind. They've never offered me harm.
She's right, friend. I could be of little value here if our enemies attack. And as Hetty says, she'll not be harmed in any case. This is a common war now, and I insist on going with you.
I advise against it, Judith. But if you're determined...
I'll get you some food, and you can start while it's still dark.
We'll need dawn for our errand. But it'll be light in a few minutes now. And we'll soon know if the canoes are still afloat.
I'll handle the canoe for a while now, Deerslayer. You can search the other canoes. Is there any sign of them yet?
They must be near the shore if they haven't been already picked up. But we'll soon know because we've covered every part of the lake except the south end here.
If we find them, do you think we'll be safe until the soldiers from the fort come?
Soldiers? Why, they may not hear of this affair for weeks. And by that time, the Redskins can build a dozen rafts. But for the present, we'll be safe.
What can we do to rescue Father and Harry?
I have no plan yet, Judith.
Will the Mingos hold them captive, or...
I can't say, girl. They went out on an evil mission. And red men's nature ain't white man's. They may pay in kind. The Lord only knows.
But surely we can do something.
When Chingacook comes, we'll have a council. Perhaps the two of us can make a plan.
Chingacook? Who's he?
He's a young Delaware chief sent out by his tribe to report on these conditions. I'm to meet him by the big rock tonight at sunset.
Do you think this Delaware can be depended on, Deerslayer?
As much as I can myself. You do trust me, Judith.
You? I've known you but a few hours, but you have awakened the confidence of a year. Your name, though, was not unknown to me. The gallants of the garrison frequently speak of the lessons you've given them in hunting and shooting, and all proclaim your honesty. What's the English name of your Delaware friend?
Big Serpent. so called for his wisdom and learning.
Well, if he has this wisdom, we may expect a useful friend in him. Unless his own business in this part of the country should prevent him from serving us.
I see no great harm in telling you of his errand. Chingachgook is a comely Indian, and there's a chief that has a daughter called Watawa, the rarest gal among the Delawares. Chingachgook fancied her, and she fancied him. But several weeks ago, Watawa went with her father and mother to fish salmon on the western streams. Chingachgook lost sight of her. And then a runner brought a message that the gal had disappeared from her parents, that she had been stolen and was now with the Mingos, and was to be married to one of the enemy.
Well, how does this concern you, Deerslayer?
It concerns me as all things that touches a friend concerns a friend. I'm here to help Chingachgook get back his sweetheart.
Look, Deerslayer. There's one of the canoes. Yonder on that sunken rock about 3 yards from the shore.
Good. Pull in close, Judith, and I'll pull it free.
Look sharp, Deerslayer. There may be an ambush beyond.
Lie down in the canoe, Judith. You're right. But he missed us, and there's only one of them, and he'll have to reload.
There he goes, in the bushes on the right. Quick, Deerslayer.
Oh, I can't shoot an uncovered foe, even if he is a redskin.
Oh, but he's up there now reloading. You can take him before he has time to fire again.
No. That may be a redskin warfare, but it's not a Christian gift. Land me on this rock and push back in the lake. I'll take this oak for protection and give him an even chance. This away, redskin. This away if you're looking for me. It rests on you whether it's war or peace between us. I'm not one of them that thinks it's valiant to slay human mortals singly in the woods. That's right. Come down and talk it over. But mind that rifle.
2 canoes. 1 for you, 1 for me.
No. You own neither, and neither shall you have as long as I can prevent it. Go your way and leave me go mine. The world is large enough for us both, and when we meet fairly in battle, why, the Lord will order the fate of each of us.
Good. Brother missionary, great talk.
Not so. I'm only a hunter.
My brother very young, but wise. Little warrior, great talker. Chief sometime in council.
I'm only a hunter, I tell you, and I want my life to be a peaceful one.
Old wisdom, young tongue. My canoe mine. Your canoe yourn. Go, look. If yourn, you keep. If mine, I keep.
That's just, redskin. Come down to the shore and look.
Good.
There it is. Take a good look. Is it yours?
No mine. Pale-face canoe. No other man's canoe. Farewell, brother. You go back muskrat house in water. Injun go to camp. Tell chief no fine canoe.
Goodbye, Mingo. That's more reason than I expected out of an Iroquois. I'll push this canoe off, Judith, and we can go on.
Look behind you, Deerslayer. He hasn't gone.
Aha. Deerslayer was too quick for you, redskin. You're a poor shot with the rifle like most of your friends. But you've nothing to fear from me now.
Water. Give Injun water.
Water you shall have if you drink the lake dry. I'll carry you down to it. It would be sinful in me not to tell you your time hadn't come, warrior. You'll soon find the happy hunting grounds if you've been a just Injun.
Good. Young head, old wisdom. Old Injun die. How Injun call white man?
Deerslayer's the name I bear now.
Good name for boy. Poor name for warrior. No fear in white man's breast. Eyes harden. Finger lightening. No more Deerslayer. Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Is he dead, Deerslayer?
I didn't want to take his life, but he left me no choice between killing and being killed. But we'll have to find that other canoe at once, Judith. This man will be found by his friends at any minute,
and their fury will drive them to Muskrat Castle in another hour.
You're about to hear another episode of The Deerslayer, dramatized and directed by Charles Frederick Lindsley.
Deerslayer and Judith Hutter have left their house in the middle of the lake to find the two canoes which were lost in the night. They have found one which drifted close to the shore, but in rescuing it, Deerslayer has his first encounter with the enemy and is forced to shoot an adversary in self-defense. He and Judith have taken to the water again in search of the second canoe. I didn't want to take his life, Judith, but I had to, or he would have taken mine.
You should be very proud, Deerslayer. It was a very accurate shot you made. You didn't even have time to aim. I can see why men brag about your rifle shooting.
I don't wish to boast about the exploit. It was slaying a human, although he was a savage.
Is this the first warrior you've ever killed?
Yes. I have fought with most of the creatures of the forest, such as bears, wolves, and catamounts. But this is the beginning with the redskins.
Why didn't you take the scalp? That's always done, I'm told.
No hand of mine will ever molest a scalp. If I was an Indian, I might, and then brag about it. But I'm white, and my vouchers are white.
All white men don't think that way.
Oh, yes, I know. But then there are miscreants of every color. And evil practices by a few will not make an act right. Keep your eyes open, Judith, for the other canoe. We'll turn this one loose. The wind is blowing toward the castle now, and it'll be safe. It's light, and we can look after it.
I see the other one now, Deerslayer. Look, just up the lake there, and drifting slowly into shore.
I see it. Let me help you with the paddle. It isn't moving with the natural current of the wind, though. I can't account for that.
Did you leave a paddle in it?
No. All the paddles except the ones we are using are at the Ark. I took them with me when we found the boats last night and set them adrift. Why?
I'm sure there's something in motion on the other side of that canoe.
I believe you're right.
What can it be?
I have it, gal. There's an Indian in that boat. He's lying in it and paddling toward the shore with his arm. He must overtake him before he gets into land.
Be careful, Deerslayer. He may be armed.
Unlikely, gal. He swam to the boat while we were just occupied and is trying to get it back in this method.
He's heard us. Look, he's on his knees now. Take your rifle.
I won't need it. Here, Redskin. If you've enjoyed yourself enough in that canoe, take to the lake again. I don't crave your blood. Take to the lake again before we get to hot words. I thought as much. He's off to the shore, Judith. But he'll have his rifle in a few minutes. Here, take a hold of his canoe, and I'll put us beyond his rifle. We've got the boats now, and we'll join Hetty at the castle.
Well, here we are, Hetty. We have all the canoes at the Ark now, and we're safe for the present.
Did you see anything of Father?
No, we have no chance for that.
Do you suppose he and Harry will find a way of escape?
It isn't likely, Hetty. So when Chingaku comes tonight, we'll make some plans for their release.
Well, what can two men do against a whole band of Indians on the warpath? I'll go ashore and tell them to let Father and Hurry go.
The Indians may do you no harm, Hetty, but they'll hardly listen to any such proposal as that.
Tell me something about your father, Judith. Harry tells me he was once a sailor.
If Hurry knows anything of Father's history, I wish he'd told it to me. Sometimes I think he was a sailor, and sometimes I think not.
Has he nothing among his belongings that would tell about his past?
I've never seen anything. But if that chest of his was open, or could speak, we could find out something, I'm sure.
A chest?
Yes, he has a large chest in his room, fastened with heavy iron bars and 3 locks.
Did you ever see the chest open, Jude?
No, never. Father never opens it in my presence, if he ever opens it at all. No one here has ever seen its lid raised.
You're wrong, Jude. Father has raised the lid, and I've seen him do it.
When and where did you ever see that chest open, Hetty?
Here, and many times. Father opens it when you're away. He doesn't mind my being near and hearing what he says and watching what he does.
Well, what is it he does, and what is it he says?
Well, that I can't tell you, Judith. Father's secrets are not my secrets.
This is strange, Deerslayer. That Father should tell them to Hetty and not tell them to me.
There's good reason for that, Judith, though you're not to know it. Father's not here to answer for himself, and I'll say no more about it.
Can I see the chest, Judith?
It's right next to us here in Father's room. It's fastened, though, and he keeps the key hidden.
You mustn't disturb it, Judith. You mustn't.
Father's in danger. He may never come back, and the chest may give us information that will tell us more about who we are. It may have something that we could use for ransom.
No. I tell you, Father wouldn't want you to open it. It'll do us no good. Don't, Judith. Leave it alone, please.
Here's the box, Deerslayer. It's fastened with this padlock and these iron plates. Do you know where he keeps the key, Hetty?
He's never shown me that. I think he keeps it with him. Please, Judith, let's leave it alone. You'll be sorry.
Let's look for the key, Deerslayer. It's probably hidden somewhere in this room because Father wouldn't run the risk of carrying it. He knows it would be safer here. You look along that wall, and I'll look over here under these clothes. Hetty's just superstitious.
Did your father ever give any downright command concerning this chest, Judith?
No. He's always appeared to think that its lock and steel bands are its best protection.
It is a rare chest, anyway. Why, this wood comes from no forest I know of. The chest itself would buy your father's ransom.
He seems to prize what the box holds more than the box itself.
Well, I don't like to pry into another man's affairs. But if the chest has articles for your father's freedom, it seems to me they would be wisely used in redeeming their owner's life.
But it doesn't belong to you, Deerslayer, or to Judith. You have no right to molest it.
When the lawful owner of a buck or a trap or a canoe isn't present, his next of kin becomes his representative by all the laws of the woods, Hetty. Being the oldest, Judith, you have the right to say, in my opinion.
When my father's life is in danger, I can't hesitate. I say we'll open it if we find the key. I've been looking for it here on this wall. You take a look for it in those drawers over there, Deerslayer. Don't stand there staring at us, Hetty. Help us search.
I'll not help. And I hope you don't find the key. It's sinful.
But it's for Father's sake. You love him, don't you?
More than you, Judith Hutter. I love him so much I'll not disobey him. I know he'd not have you do this.
Well, the key's not here, Deerslayer. Let's look in this room next, which belongs to me and Hetty.
I won't stay with you. And I tell you again, you'll be sorry if you do this evil thing. You'll be sorry.
So this room belongs to you and Hetty?
Yes.
It would not be hard to tell which side belongs to you, gal. You love finery, they say. And I guess these handsome garments don't belong to the meek and lowly Hetty Hutter.
Oh, that's just another evidence of Hetty's weak mind, that she thinks fine clothes are frivolous and sinful. Oh, don't waste any time looking among her things, Deerslayer. Nothing we seek would likely be found there.
Your father trusts her, as she said. I reckon it'd be the most narrow thing for him to hide the key among her clothes, if it's in this room at all. Look in that coarse pocket there.
Deerslayer, it's the key. It's the one, I'm sure. Come, quickly. It is the key. Oh, there. Oh, Deerslayer. Perhaps Hetty's right. Maybe we should find some other means of releasing Father and Hurry.
Not so, gal. No means are as easy and certain as a good bribe. The lid'll open all right. It's loaded with iron and held by its own weight. Here, let me try it. Here's a full cargo. Bring some stools while I open this blanket on the floor, and we'll begin our work orderly and in comfort. Well, the first thing looks like a king's garment.
A man's coat. Oh, what beautiful ornaments. All red and gold. Is it a military coat?
It's like none I ever saw, though it may be. But it's an extraordinary thing. I think this will do, Judith. No Indian heart could withstand colors and glitter like this. If this coat was ever made for your father, you've come honestly by your taste for finery.
That coat was never made for Father. It's much too long. Father's short and square.
Cloth was plenty if it was, and glitter cheap.
I should like to see it on your shoulders, Deerslayer.
What? See me in a coat fit for a lord? If you wait till that day, Judith, you'll wait until you see me beyond reason and memory. No, gal, my gifts are my gifts, and I'll live and die in them. So I never bring down another deer. What have I done that you wish to see me in such a flaunting coat?
Because I think the false-tongue young gallants at the garrison ought not to be the only ones to appear in fine feathers. I think truth and honesty should be honored.
What honor to me, to be bedizened and bescarleted like a Mingo. No, I'm well as I am. Lay the coat on the blanket, and we'll look further in the chest. Here's something for you.
Oh, a dress. A brocade. Oh, how beautiful. Look, Deerslayer. It's just my size, too. Look.
I don't know a better way to treat with a Mingo's gal than to send you ashore in that and tell 'em a queen has arrived among 'em.
Oh, I thought your tongue too honest to flatter. I've respected you because I thought you truthful.
'Tis solemn truth, Judith. Never did eyes of mine gaze on such a glorious creature as you, standing there with that dress falling from your shoulders.
Well, of what use could a dress like this be to an Indian woman? She couldn't wear it among the branches of the trees.
I think this is all we'll need now to trade with the Redskins. Maybe we shouldn't explore further in the chest.
But we might find something even more valuable to trade for ransom. Let's take everything out. Look! Pistols! Inlaid with silver. Did you ever see arms like these, Deerslayer?
I saw an officer at the fort once who had just come from Europe who carried a pair like them. Here, let me see them, gal.
Are they loaded?
White men are careless in putting away firearms in chests and corners. Let me open the pan and see. Yes, it's filled with priming, but it's been here so long it's caked like a bit of cinder. But this gun's a handsome thing to look at, though. Child guns, the Delawares call these pistols.
I can tell by your eyes, Deerslayer, that you'd like to be trying them. I can see that they're a challenge to your marksmanship. Is it safe to fire a pistol that's been loaded so long?
It's very neglectful to leave a piece loaded so long. It takes fresh priming to ensure a proper discharge. Why, there's scarce a season goes by, but someone in the settlements don't suffer from one of these forgotten charges.
What do you mean?
Why, the pistol hangs fire, as it's termed. And I have known weapons to break into fragments when,